Stand up.
All right, hold it, y'all. Stand up, Shelly.
First of all, welcome to another season of Touchdown Club. Before we begin, I want to say it's great to have members of the clergy in attendance. Father Viron, please acknowledge Father Viron again. And to my left, the Reverend Houston Nutt. I assume you've been ordained because every time I see you quoted, it's about forgiveness and redemption. By the way, I'm glad you got here. Some of the Ole Miss folks were getting to worry you were busy posting bond. Terry, Trey, let me add my congratulations to what you heard from Steve. And Terry, I saw Middle Tennessee State's on your list. You should be aware they have an excellent student loan program. I want to congratulate Alabama for winning the national title in football this year. It's the 4th SEC team to win, and that national title probably helps you Alabama guys pass the long, cold winter while you're still on probation until 2012. For anyone who might have forgotten, this is Alabama's 4th probation in 14 years. So let's give Alabama a round of applause. The athletic administration has addressed that issue. No more textbooks for athletes. By the way, I don't know if you knew Alabama inspired the rule that no more phrases on the players' eye black. That's because they were having to hire tutors at Alabama to help the players spell beat Mississippi State. I want to congratulate Steve and Harold. They renegotiated the Liberty Bowls contract with the SEC this year. We're going to be sharing the 8th or 9th team with the Birmingham Bowl, whatever that's going to be. I'm excited. It means I may have a chance to see South Carolina here on a regular basis. There's a new head coach in Tennessee. Oh, wait a minute. Did I pick up last year's script? No, I'm sorry. This is right. A year ago, who would have thought that by the kickoff of the 2010 season, the Memphis Tigers would have a lane and the Vols wouldn't? Some of you may remember Coach Kiffin. He was at UT. He was the ex-Southern Cal guy who said he wanted to embrace all the UT football traditions. You know, like the ball walk, running through the T, holding up a gas station. In his single season at UT, he was able to post a 7-6 record. That was 7 wins and 6 secondary recruiting violations. Although he claimed 7 when he was here. You got to commend the athletic director there, Mike Hamilton. It took him just 15 hours and a sizable pay hike to lure Derek Dooley, his top choice, to be the Vols' new head coach. Fortunately, Hamilton was able to convince him to leave Louisiana Tech for a similar lateral position in Knoxville. To his credit, Dooley says he plans to bring in a higher caliber athlete. That's ironic. It's usually the Tennessee athletes who bring the higher calibers to campus. You got to admit it's been an odd year. The major football teams in the state all have new head coaches. On top of that, Memphis also has a new head coach. Memphis has a new tailgate area called Tiger Lane. It'll hold 16 cars, so with 4 occupants per cars, 600 rather, 4 occupants per cars, that's 2,400 Tiger fans. It's a shame the other half of the Tiger Nation will have to park someplace else. Most startling, probably, Colonel Reb took early retirement. Although many say he may return as the Minnesota Vikings mascot next year. Some of this is really cerebral. You've got to... Okay, so I guess it's time to talk about the 800-pound Muppet in the room. Coach Knight, is Jeremiah Masoli the 2010 version of the Wild Rebel? Or perhaps, given his record, he's rebel with probable cause? Does this is not supposed to be funny. Does he know to line up behind center when Ole Miss is on offense? The reason I ask that is all my Ole Miss fans tell me he's a good kid. He's just frequently in the wrong place at the wrong time. I've learned to check to see if the coach is still laughing. For now. For those of you who don't know the story, Masoli was the quarterback at Oregon last year. Masoli already has an undergraduate degree in sociology and wants a 3rd degree. He recently completed his 2nd degree burglary at Oregon. And because he has a strong interest in parks and recreation, he is enrolled at Ole Miss. Pretty good degree choice because I understand he likes grass. Speaking of a parks and recreation major, isn't it a little redundant to add the phrase "and recreation" to any Ole Miss degree? I mean, they don't say he studied math and recreation at Ole Miss. It's just understood. I thought Masoli might have chosen Mississippi State. Jeremiah was a Bulldog, has a better ring to it, doesn't it? 3 Dog Night fans here? No one? Ole Miss should have a great passing attack this season. All the police reports say Masoli has a strong arm. And now, it's time to introduce our head speaker for today. Houston Nutt doesn't need a long introduction. I think we all know that he was at Arkansas for, was it 7 years?
10 years.
10 years. Those last 3 got away from me. He was the head coach, a very successful head coach at the University of Arkansas for 10 years. His last regular season game, he defeated the eventual national champions, LSU, in Baton Rouge in 3 overtimes? 5 overtimes? 3 overtimes. And has been the head coach at Ole Miss for 2 years, starting his 3rd season. Phenomenally successful at Ole Miss, although he has lost twice to South Carolina. But today Coach Nutt is going to tell us what the whole world has been waiting to hear, and that is who the starting mascot at Ole Miss will be. Please welcome Mr. Nutt.
Shelly.
Stand up, Shelly.
You guys practice that stand-up line? Is that it? First of all, I want to apologize. I got away late from the office and didn't get home in time to change into my Independence Bowl jersey that I bought from a guy on eBay at Georgia. So, Coach Caldwell, where did you go? You left. Oh, well, in Coach Caldwell's absence, I'll have to go ahead with the jokes anyway. I promised I wasn't going to do that. It's so nice to have a fellow South Carolinian here. Congratulations on winning your first game as a head coach. as well as shifting the word interim from your title to Coach Nuts. We've got a large crowd here tonight, and I'm guessing they're not mostly rebels. How many Vandy alums do we have here tonight? All right, that's great. What is it you guys say at the games? Show your gold futures? Is that it? Coach Caldwell is from Pageland, South Carolina, which is the watermelon capital of the world. Watermelons are to Pageland kind of what double wides are to Arkansas. Pageland has about 3,000 residents, so it's about the same size as the University of Memphis season ticket base. We shared kind of a South Carolina moment here a few minutes ago because there was a debate at our table here about the dessert, which several people erroneously called pecan pie, but those of us from South Carolina know it's pecan pie. I have, since I've been in Memphis, been willing to accord people the possibility that if the tree is in the front yard, it could be a pecan tree. But in the backyard, it's certainly a pecan tree. Okay, well, it's been several weeks since we met, and a lot's happened. I was listening to Rebel Hotline driving up here with the emphasis on hot. 3 games into the season at Tennessee, it looks like the Vols are working hard on the basics, blocking, ball control, bathing. Coach Dooley said last week UT has the worst shower discipline of any team he's been around. I just hope he didn't learn that watching film with the team. Learning proper shower etiquette and technique should be very helpful even after their playing days are over. As we know, it's not uncommon later in life for ex-UT football players to find themselves in institutions where community showers are the norm. It could be a long season for the Vols, so the next time you're in Knoxville, try and say something nice to a UT fan, you know, like you might compliment his tooth. There have been some major upsets so far. James Madison beat Virginia Tech, North Dakota State beat Kansas, then Kansas beat Georgia Tech. I don't know if you call it a major upset for the Ole Miss Rebels when they lose 3 straight to the Gamecocks. See, that's what Jacksonville State, they're the Gamecocks. A lot of them may not have known that. And they lost 2 straight to South Carolina before that. So I should have set that joke up better. But Jacksonville State is an excellent football program, and for those of you who are now following Jacksonville State, they're still undefeated. They beat Georgia State in overtime in Atlanta Saturday night. Of course, that was Georgia State's 3rd game ever. But I think we have to ask ourselves at this point, how much is the lack of an effective mascot hurting Ole Miss? Big news for the Tigers. They won their first game under Larry Porter Saturday by beating Middle Tennessee State. Almost 28,000 fans at the Liberty Bowl, apparently a large chunk of them here tonight. But what really grabbed everybody's attention was, or really grabbed the attention of the Tiger fans, was Tiger Lane. You know, the Tiger team walked down Tiger Lane instead of walking their usual route by Binswanger Glass and over the railroad tracks. And University of Memphis Athletic Director R.C. Johnson said, quote, "Tiger Lane has transformed a team into a community." I'm just trying to figure out what that means, but maybe some of you know. One of the Tiger fans was quoted in the paper saying, "I've never seen anything like this for Memphis State football in all the days of my life." Imagine how excited they're going to be when they get the trees out there. This thing, I tell you, this is the group we've got to get to the Bass Pro Shop opening if they're that excited. And just one final thing, it's not about football. I don't know how many of you read about Coach Calipari in the New York Times on Tuesday or Wednesday, but apparently Eric Bledsoe, who played one season there last year, may have had some academic difficulties in high school. Somehow he managed to ace Algebra 3 at night school without ever taking Algebra 2. So the New York Times asked the question, can Coach Calipari pull off an unprecedented triple crown of having seasons vacated at 3 universities? So we'll see what happens there. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce a longtime friend, Vandy grad, attorney at Bassberry, John Stemler, who's going to introduce our primary speaker tonight. John, come on.
And this outfit on. I was lost for words. So are y'all ready for some Shelly shorts? Let's bring him up.
Stand up, Shelly.
Only room for one comedian here.
And who is that? Where?
Coach Phillips, just for the record, I too am considering Kentucky. I hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving. Lots to be thankful for. 10 SEC teams are bowl eligible, so one of them's got to be coming here. Right, Steve? Right, Harold? The end of the Memphis football season. The closing of Rebel Bear season. And of course, most of all, Coach Nutt is not going to Colorado. It turns out that Colorado rumor was just that. There was a little confusion. He's got a family vacation, ski vacation in Colorado planned at the end of the year because he's free then. Speaking of Thanksgiving, how about Black Friday? Or as they used to call it in Tuscaloosa, the Iron Bowl. I know you, probably at least 4 of you haven't heard this joke. It seems to be going around, but there are still 3 possibilities by which Alabama can get to the national championship: Delta, Southwest, and United. Although that's not my joke, it made me think after that second half, it's pretty appropriate. I would guess the Alabama team feels like they've had a pretty aggressive strip search. Any of you guys want to do the Rebel Bear yell, or do we have one yet? Well, I thought there was one bright spot in the Ole Miss loss to Mississippi State. Going into the game, Jeremiah Masoli needed only 11 yards to break the single-season rushing record for a Mississippi quarterback with less than 3 felony convictions. Good news, he was able to pick up 13 yards plus a Mississippi State player's iPod.
That was good. You're not rapping, Bill.
What, Bill doesn't like it?
Mazzoli's 544 yards for the season were the most ever for a graduate student in Parks and Recreation. Congratulations, University of Tennessee. 4 straight victories to end the season. You're bowl eligible, so I guess for all you UT bashers, UT has the last laugh. Or since they're probably going to the Music City Bowl, I guess that'd be the last hee-haw. Vandy fired Coach Robbie Caldwell Saturday after Vanderbilt ended Wake Forest's 9-game longest in the nation losing streak. I guess the luster finally wore off the win in Oxford. Vandy now says it's serious about building a winning tradition in the Southeastern Conference. At least that's what David Williams, their chancellor for student housing, parking, and athletics, said. TCU is going to the Big East. Memphis expects a bid any day.
funny.
And finally, in the bold picture, and this is no disrespect to Kentucky, but it looks like Georgia may be coming to the Liberty Bowl. Just in case they do, remember to bring inside any yard art or small pets. Coach Phillips, great to have you with us here tonight, although I suspect you're a little tired of Tennessee. How's Coach Cal doing? I know everyone here joins me in wishing him the best for the holiday season. Yeah, it's really incredible. Even though many of the players he recruits to play basketball at Kentucky are gone before spring break. He always finds new talent for the next year. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but he doesn't rebuild, he just refinances. I do want to commend Coach Phillips. He coached at South Carolina under Lou Holtz before going to Kentucky, and he is the first Kentucky coach to ever defeat a Steve Spurrier coached team. So I think you got to give him a hand there. Now, some cynics would say that every losing streak has to come to an end sometime, although some Kentucky streaks show no sign of ending. 26 in a row. I like to give the UT fans grief, but you got to help me out there just a little bit. I really thought that was a lot funnier. All right, with that, put your hands together. It's time to bring to the main stage Mr. Steve Earhart, Managing Director of Liberty Bowl Partners. Steve?
Are you ready for Shellie's shorts?
Yeah. Stand up.
Come on up, Shelley. It's your last brouhaha, man.
He's got a notebook, man.
Go Cox.
Boy, he's got a big orange victim, boy. Doesn't get any better than this, does it, Shelley?
Hardly. That's the hell of it. First of all, I hope everyone likes my sweater. I bought this on eBay last night from Cam Newton. Oh gosh, I guess I shouldn't have told that. He said there was $1,000 de minimis. I want to welcome all our guests here tonight who are Tennessee alums. How many Tennessee alums do we have? Yay! All right, that's great. Go Vols. Glad to see you. We usually have a few more than this, but I think Congress is delaying passing an unemployment extension bill. Well, the SEC coaching carousel seems to have stopped very quickly. Dan Mullen is staying at Mississippi State. Bobby Petrino's staying at Arkansas. No real surprise. He never leaves a coaching job during the season, unless it's during the season. You have to think about that one. Florida hired coach-in-waiting Will Muscamp, and that only leaves Vanderbilt and Ole Miss with their coaching positions up in the air. Did Arkansas save Bobby Petrino from the evil clutches of Florida, or did the Hogs jump the gun by giving him a big salary increase? You know, they gave him a 7-year deal that bumps his salary from $2.7 million a year to $3.56 million with an $18 million buyout. That kind of money will afford Coach Petrino the wherewithal to buy the ultimate Arkansas status symbols, his and her double wides. In fact, I did the math. With that kind of money, you could buy a double wide every week of the year. Talk about hog heaven. No word yet on a contract extension or pay raise for Coach Nutt. The Birmingham paper is reporting that Gus Malzahn got a raise from $500,000 to $1.3 million to stay at Auburn. It was reported that Vanderbilt offered him $3 million, but that was conditioned on Cam Newton coming with him. Vanderbilt Vice Chancellor of Athletics and Working, David Williams, told the Tennessean that no deal was ever in place to make Malzahn the Commodore's next head coach. Instead, Williams called Malzahn a, quote, person of interest in the search. If that phrase, person of interest, sounds familiar, it's because you hear the police use it sometimes in connection with former Tennessee athletes. Vice Chancellor Williams said that reports stating Malzahn had agreed to become the next Vandy coach were incorrect, and in his words, kind of dangerous stuff that gets people worked up. What does a worked up Vandy fan look like? What do they do? I mean, they could retaliate against their Auburn employees, but how? And minimum wage keeps them from cutting their salaries. Cam Newton won the Heisman Trophy for, it's the second year we've had a player from Alabama win the trophy, which is really why I wore the Heisman sweater tonight. You know, Newton was great. He was better than everybody he played against. I think we'd all agree he was a professional, really in every sense of the word. As is traditional with the winner of the Heisman, he'll be on David Letterman doing the top 10 list tonight. The top 10 list is top 10 things my dad never told me. Reverend Cecil Newton is denying rumors that he threatened to hold Cam out of the Heisman broadcast unless ESPN made a substantial donation to his church. Nevertheless, we have attained... Bill, could you help me with this?
What's this? This
we
is
have
funny.
obtained this full-size replica of the offering board from Sunday service at the Holy Zion Center of Deliverance, which may bring some credence to that. Yeah, hold it up here, Bill. As you can see, hold it up. By attendance a week ago, $500.
Nelson did that. Yeah.
Not put this on Facebook.
It's there, baby.
I believe the word is smoking gun. But now we come to the part in the evening that we're all here for. Coach Dooley, congratulations on a great season. I don't think anyone outside of Knoxville would have believed the way things started that you could have finished 6-6 and ended up with a berth in the Music City Bowl. Obviously, once your Vols developed a consistent passing attack and good shower hygiene, it all seemed to come together. It was a little strange that you compared the team to the German Army, but that's okay. Here in Memphis, we compare the University of Memphis to the Salvation Army. And I think you showed during the year that you're an innovator. I mean, everybody heard of the 12th-man concept, but to pioneer the 13th-man concept is
That's a good one. That is good.
Now, I do want to commend you. We have a little thing we do at the end of the year with Tennessee coaches. The SEC office gives us their naughty and nice list. And it's just for fun, really. This was Coach Kiffin's naughty list last year. But I am proud to say that your naughty list is empty. Coach Pearl, on the other hand, let's just say, even if he weren't Jewish, I don't think Santa would be coming down his chimney. But with that, it gives gives me great pleasure to introduce the 22nd football coach at the University of Tennessee, former coach and athletic director at Louisiana Tech, also coached with the Dolphins, with LSU. Played football at Virginia, went to law school at Georgia, practiced with a good South Carolina law firm in Georgia, I believe. That's correct. I thought it was.
Got one thing right.
Please welcome to the microphone Coach Derek Dooley.